So here's kind of a last objection is, what if the change was so early we can't detect it? Because we have pretty early documents, but we don't have the original, okay, the originals, right? So kind of, I wrestled with this one for a while, and really my first response is, again, what's the evidence of this, right? So we can speculate. I mean, that's pure speculation to say, well, maybe the change was so early that we can't detect it. But if we can't detect it, then there's no evidence of it. So we're just speculating. So I need to see evidence. And if the irony is, if someone did provide evidence of an earlier manuscript that shows that it's been changed so early, well, then it's no longer a problem of we can't detect it. We now are aware of it, and we can rectify that, right? So that's my first response, is that claim is strictly speculation. Number two, I'm going to talk about the Quran a little, and we'll return to the Star Wars analogy, because I know you guys love the Star Wars analogy. So bear with me a second, but this is helpful. When we talk about the Quran, right, it wasn't collected or composed until after Muhammad's death. So it was, apparently, Muhammad claimed he was given the words of the Quran from an angel, and then he passed it on to his followers. And at the time, Arabic wasn't even a fully developed written language. But many of his followers wrote them down on random things. And this is in Muslim sources. This isn't, me making something up that a Muslim would disagree with. This is right from Muslim sources that, Muslims had like parts of the Quran written on things here and there, including like camel bone collars, the collar of bone of camels, and palm leaves and things like that. So essentially, after Muhammad's death, the leadership became very concerned because of warfare. A lot of Muslims that had memorized the Quran were being killed in combat. So they decided it would be a good idea to collect all the writings that they had, all the different scraps of the Quran, and get all the different people who memorized it and listened to them, and again, kind of compare them, and then put out an authorized version of the Quran. Okay, so that was done before 656 AD. It was completed sometime before that, within 20 years after Muhammad's death. But the problem is like I said, Arabic wasn't a fully developed written language yet, so there was disagreements on how to pronounce certain words in certain passages, and if they were pronounced slightly different, they mean different things. So there was disagreement over how to pronounce the words, and there was all this conflict again within the Muslim community. So once again, those in power collected all the Qurans and put out a second. Well, they didn't collect them all, but they put out a second authorized version. And they actually ordered that all the older copies be burned. So any evidence before the second authorized version be burned. And again, I'm not making this up. This is actually right in their hadiths. You can look it up here. Okay. Now the problem is variant versions of the Quran still exist to this day. So even though there was a deliberate effort to destroy the evidence of the earlier versions of the Quran, it still managed to survive. And also notice there was a central power doing this and distributing the Qurans, unlike Christianity, which, like I said, kind of just went viral. The New Testament just went viral. So what's this have to do with what we're talking about? So the thing is if I were to change some of the New Testament, like if I was an ancient scribe and wanted to change it, I would then have to go back and collect all the old copies and either change them or destroy them, right? And I think the history of the Quran shows us just how hard that is to do. So my point is if the New Testament was changed so early, there would be some evidence of it. So returning to the Star Wars analogy, in order for George Lucas to have fooled me that he didn't change the ending of Return of the Jedi, he would have had to destroy all other copies of Star Wars, right? So I would never get my hands on those originals again. But I think the whole history of the Quran shows us just how hard that would be to do, especially with the New Testament being viral and just spreading far and wide. So conclusions, wrapping it up. The majority of variants are awfully boring and easily resolved, primarily spelling and grammar errors, and most make no difference when translated into English. So based on textual criticism, only 1% of variants affect the meaning of the passage they appear in. 0% change any Christian belief. And so we can be at least, or be confident that what we read in the New Testament is at least 99% accurate to the original manuscripts, based on what textual critics say. Again, with these amount of ancient manuscripts, one scholar said the number and nature of manuscripts we have make it extraordinarily unlikely that we shall ever again find variants that are not already known.